Good evening, everybody. I am Chris Ridgard. Welcome to Reds Report, Red Sky at Night. Alongside me, my host, Callum Cooper. I hope your internet's not at pitch side because it was horrendous last week.
Terrible, I know, weren't it? I had a shocker last week, so I'll hold my hands up. I'll apologise for that, but no, I think I've sorted it today, so that's all good.
Good man, good man. You probably noticed we're not on his own. I'm not so sure if this man needs an introduction. If you're a Barnsley fan, if you don't recognise the man underneath us, you've been living under a rock. He's the enigma. He is a player that, well, I think he lives in all his hearts, and he will do it. He'll go down in Barnsley history as an absolute cult hero. Is that a good enough introduction?
I think you're being a bit too kind there, if I'm honest, but I'll take it.
Kayode Odejayi, Kay, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. I know you're a very busy man with what you're up to these days, so thank you.
Trying to be, yeah.
Good man, and we'll get to that, and we'll start at the beginning. So,
no problem.
When did that happen? Were you always an athlete? Were you always a sportsman? How did that happen?
To be honest, obviously, listen, it's every young boy's dream to grow up and play football, and you know, I was no different. But it's not something that I actually actively pursued. Obviously, my parents were very much, you know, education, and when I did eventually end up signing, I probably signed a bit late in terms of footballing years, because I was 17 when I signed for a club, and you know, especially these days, a lot of kids are in the system from like 7, 8, 9 years old. So luckily enough, I managed to get a trial through my cousin who was at Bristol City at the time, Ade Akinbaye. So he managed to sort that out for me. And I had a trial with Millwall as well. So Bristol City, they offered me a deal pretty much straight away after the trial. Millwall wanted me to come back and train a bit more. But I think as a family, we decided maybe it was a good opportunity to maybe get out of London, try a bit of a different area. And obviously my cousin was there, so that was a big lure as well. And listen, I was just happy to get the offer. And like I mentioned before, a lot of kids start a lot younger, but there's more than one ways to skin a cat, as they say. So it was, it was a great opportunity for me. And yeah, like I said, I took it with both hands.
Of course. Callum?
Yeah, as you said there, you obviously started at Bristol City, and that was your first club. Didn't get too many chances there, but I noticed you had a loan spell at Forest Green Rovers and eventually signed for them, and being the club after Bristol City. We often look at young players and wonder whether loaning out to teams below them and getting that first team experience, does it help them or not? Do you really think that helps you progress your career and you know, become a professional football player?
Absolutely. I'm one of those. I'm all for the loan system, right? For whether you're playing in League Two or whether you're in a Premiership club. As a youngster, I think it's paramount that you go out and you get games and you get men's football under your belt, because as great as the academy system is, as brilliant it is, and it brings off great players, there's nothing like actually playing in a proper men's game and getting into the hustle bustle. And it's the real world. I mean, when you're in academy, you're in a bit of a bubble. And it definitely helped me. Obviously, if I hadn't gone out on loan to Forest Green, I might not have ended up signing for them. I might have ended up somewhere else. You know, who knows where I could have ended up. And as I've grown older, as I've seen youngsters go out on loan and come back, the difference that you see in them is absolutely immense. And I think if you end up leaving a club and you haven't got games under your belt, whether you're from Man United or another big club, if they've got someone who's same age, same position, and he's got 30, 40 odd games under his belt, it don't matter where you've been, they're going to go with that guy that's got the more experience. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, of course. I would always say to any youngster, as soon as you get an opportunity to get out there and get on loan, take it with both hands.
Of course. Callum's mentioned Forest Green Rovers, great spell there, and then another good spell at Cheltenham. I guess we strikers, it's almost like there's a lot of variables that seem to come together at the right time for you. What were the variables that came together there for that really good spell? I mean, obviously, you've got quite a physique. Did your physique develop? Did that come at that time? Was it a mindset? Was it technique? Or was it just a combination of everything just coming together at the right moment?
Like you said, I mean, it's very hard to pinpoint one thing. There are so many different variables, like you said. one thing that I'm very big on now. I was always kind of on anyway, is obviously your mindset. So I think if you can get your mindset right, then that is absolutely key to everything. And I think I realized that more. And like anything, it comes with experience as you grow older. But I had a good spell at Forest Green. At the time, you know, we finished in the highest position that Forest Green had ever done. You know, I scored a few goals. So obviously it brought Cheltenham's interest. But the first couple of years, to be fair, at Cheltenham, they weren't actually as great as they should have been. So it was a bit sort of touch and go whether I kind of stayed. But John Ward came in and, you know, he showed a lot of faith in me. And he, you know, he's one of my favourite managers who I've worked with. I've worked with him at Colchester as well. And those last 2 years were probably where, like you said, all those kind of variables came together. And we had a great coach in Keith Downing as well. And, you know, like I said, they showed a lot of faith in us. And we had a great squad. Obviously, the likes of Martin Devaney and Grant McCann were there as well. So we got promoted out of League Two. We were up against it in League One, and we managed to stay up. So it was a real family club, you know. And there was no egos, no sort of superstars. Everyone kind of pulling together. But whenever we look back and, you know, you go through the squad, you know, there was some very, very good players who went on to do good things.
Your time at Cheltenham were touch and go as to whether or not you were going to stay or not. Because I think I'm right in thinking that you made your most appearances for Cheltenham than any other club. And you played for plenty of clubs, you know, during your career. Did you eventually feel really settled at Cheltenham and possibly more settled than any other club? Obviously, we'll speak about one club in particular. But, you know, you must have enjoyed your time at Cheltenham in the end.
Yeah, it's like anything, you know, when you're somewhere for sort of 2, 3 and 4 years, you do get settled and you get accustomed to the fans, the club, the way it's run, and that can work both ways. You might get a bit too comfortable, or like you said, you get comfortable and you're able to, you know, play your best stuff. I look back on all my clubs with great fondness, but Cheltenham in particular, you know, we got promoted, we managed to stay up, and like I said, I still speak to a lot of the guys. You know, I still keep in touch with quite a lot of people. I've been back down there to see everyone, and it's just a proper, really nice family-run club. And like I said, I've enjoyed every part of my career. I don't really try to look back on all the positives, but it was a really good time there. Really enjoyed it, definitely.
Of course. And then we come to the meat and the drink of the actual podcast. You signed for Barnsley, I believe, to be a fee of 200,000. Is that right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I mean, that's a hell of a fee for that period of time. It's a big fee, a lot of weight on your shoulders. How did that arrive? When was the phone call? Who made the phone call? What did that look like, Kay?
To be honest, I think I got a few messages from Martin and Grant saying that, you know, there was some interest and, you know, they were going to come down and watch and et cetera. So, you know, it's just like anything. A lot of the time it is hearsay. I'm one of them. I try not to, until I'm actually told or it's there in front of me, I try not to buy too much into what people are saying or think, because you never know, do you? You could get wrapped up in that and it could derail you and stuff. So I try to get my head down, carry on, play my game, and, you know, try to have a strongest season as possible. And, you know, eventually the call came from my agent. The clubs got into discussions. They obviously agreed a fee, and, you know, Cheltenham wanted me to stay and they made me an offer to stay. But as much as I loved it there, and, you know, if it was anyone else, I probably would have stayed. But Barnsley were in the Championship at the time, and, you know, it seemed like too good an opportunity to turn down.
Of course, something like this, Martin Devaney on the phone to you, basically telling you how good Barnsley is. It's beautiful, Kay. It's a beautiful place.
Get yourself up here. Definitely something. It sounds very similar. Were you on that phone call as well?
But yeah, obviously talking about Barnsley then, you'd probably say that's probably the biggest club really that you played for, certainly for a prolonged period of time. How was it like, you know, making that step up, as you say, into the Championship from the other level that you were playing at Cheltenham? Do you feel like you struggled with it? Do you feel like you coped well? What was that transition like?
If I'm totally honest, well, first and foremost, like I just said, it was a great opportunity for me, one that I couldn't turn down. And, you know, Championship football, I mean, it's a great league and great club. And some of the places we went to and the atmosphere, the training, the players, just everything about it, you know, I've got nothing but positive words to say about it. In terms of games, and I don't feel that I struggled in terms of like the physical aspect or the pace of the game. I think where the problem lies, as a striker, you live and die by your goals. Obviously, I'd come off the back of 2 good seasons at Cheltenham, you know, ended up top goal scorer. Like I said, we got promotion, kept him up. So I think, me personally, I'm not what you call an out-and-out goal scorer. Yes, I had times in my career where I was in amongst the goals, as I should be. As a striker, you should win. But I am not sort of your typical out-and-out goal scorer. I am the foil for the goal scorer, if you like. So, you know, I like to think when I played with people, you know, I take the brunt of the work. I'll do the hard work, the graft, take the physical. And that's fine because that's the role I played, and you know it's what I do. And there's so many different parts to a team. But like I said, whether obviously looking at the goals that I scored in the last 2 seasons, whether there was an expectancy of maybe more goals, I think personally I definitely should have scored more goals than I did. But maybe there was a bit of a misunderstanding in terms of the type of striker I was or what I was bringing to the team. But listen, it's one of them. It just obviously at the time the fans probably got on my back, rightly so or wrongly so. It's their prerogative. I don't hold anything against anyone. That's just football at the end of the day. So I think the only thing that you probably could level at me was the goal return. I feel like when I went out there, I did give 100%. I think my natural nature, being quite a laid-back person, maybe that came across differently on the pitch. Maybe, I don't know. I like to think I always put in a shift. I always worked hard. Like I said, I don't think I struggled physically with the game or anything like that. The only thing you probably could level at me was the goal return. And I think other than that, I don't think I like to think I didn't really let anyone else down.
Of course. Well, as I said in the introduction, you're a cult hero, aren't you, at Barnsley? So I guess that brings me on to, which I think is my best question today, really. Would you trade in that goal against Chelsea and the cult hero status that you've got for 30 goals for Barnsley? Would you trade that in? That's my question. I mean, if you had 30 goals, you disappear into the abyss, I guess. You know, you'd be in the history books at Barnsley, but you'd be somewhere quite low down. Or compare that to the goal against Chelsea and that cult hero status. So my question to you there, Kay, is which one would you have preferred?
Cross here, but Van Hummert has come up as well. That is a diagonal cross. It is Odejayi. It's a goal for Barnsley, and it's Kayode Odejayi in the 66th minute, and Oakwell has gone wild.
Wow, good question. I don't know. You know, it's because obviously we were struggling against relegation, but we managed to stay up. Is one of them goals a goal in a semi-final?
Yes, it would be. One of them 30 goals would be a goal in the semi-final.
Well, it's a very, very good question because, to be honest, like I said, I'm a pretty laid-back guy anyway. So the whole, I don't know, even the fact you calling me cult hero and that's your words, not mine. You know, I wouldn't. For me, I don't see it as that. I don't see myself as that. Yeah. If those 30 goals would have maybe helped Barnsley be in a better position or maybe do more, if it meant better for the club, then I would happily definitely trade that in for those 30 goals. But obviously no one knows because we're just talking hypothetically. So I'm not one to, it's not about me at the end of the day. It's about the club and everything else that obviously everyone experienced that day. So for me, the answer to that question is whichever would give the club the best, say, fortunes, or whichever would, whether that's having their place in the history books for such an upset, or whether that's kicking them on in terms of the league and where they would have gone in the years after that. I think whichever one would give the club the best, that was what I would go for.
That is a good answer. And to be fair, I think your goal against Chelsea is the best outcome.
Yeah,
but that's my opinion.
Well, if that's what if you're saying that, then I'll go with that, boys. No problem at all.
Callum, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, we obviously won't be talking about your Barnsley career if we didn't mention that goal against Chelsea. Yeah. You know, absolutely unbelievable. I think you've beat Ricardo Carvalho and Cudicini when that cross has come in at the same time. 2 great players. Just talk us through that goal and that feeling. And the whole FA Cup run, to be honest, it must have been just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, well, I mean, the round before, to beat Liverpool at Anfield after I can't remember how long it was, but they hadn't lost for God knows how long. Obviously, there's so many different subplots to it. I mean, Luke Steele's first game on loan from West Brom. You know, like I said, the history of not losing at Anfield for so long. So it's a great game previously. Obviously, like we mentioned, we're up against relegation, we're struggling in the league. Then we go and beat giants like Liverpool and Chelsea. And, you know, great, almost two sort of carbon copy goals. Davers cross for Fosdin against Liverpool. Obviously, Brian Howard, what a season he had that season. He scored a great goal. And like I said, just obviously the goal aside against Chelsea, like the team performance, I mean, to hold on like we did, we were really, really up against it. And I was speaking to someone previously the other day. Obviously, there was like 20,000 plus fans there, without sort of using the cliche again, but they were like the 12th man. They really pulled us through, and it's just such a shame that there's not going to be a crowd there this time round again. Because I mean, you can imagine what the atmosphere would be. So, yeah, what a cup run, and just unfortunately we couldn't get over that final hurdle.
Okay, I mean, it's very clear from talking to you for this last 15 minutes why you lasted so long in football. I think your mentality is unbelievable, and I think I know where the answers are going to go with this question. So obviously the disappointment of Wembley and that miss. We'll mention the miss. Soon after that, not so long after that, he scored a double against Watford. How do you go from such disappointment and possibly a lack of confidence in your ability, the sadness or the disappointment, to absolutely smashing Watford all over numerous days later, and arguably one of your best games in a Barnsley shirt? I mean, I probably realised the answer already having spoke to you, but just talk us through that quick transition.
Yeah, well, like I said, obviously, listen, to disappointment, none more disappointed than myself. Obviously, I had the direct chance, should have scored, didn't score, and you know, it was a down time. But like I said, things happen so quickly in football. If I go into that game still thinking about that miss, might not have scored those goals, we might not have won the game. Barnsley could have been relegated. So there's just so many. You've always got a choice. Where I think, obviously, life's not necessarily about what happens to you, it's how you react to things, you know. It's either you've got to be positive or negative. That's it. No matter how bad the situation, you've always got to choose and err on the side of positivity. And that's sort of my ethos these days. I mean, I've always been on the whole positive side, but like I said, as I've grown older and I've looked into more things, read into things, listened to things, I'm all for that sort of positive mental attitude. So 100%.
Love it.
If I remember rightly at the time, you know, after that Cardiff game, before the Watford game, I think Bobby Hassel sort of made the effort to come out publicly and sort of back you, you know, after obviously that miss. How important was that leading up to that Watford game and that brilliant performance, winning a side at the top of the league, you know, to have your teammates backing? Did they sort of get their arm around you and pull you back together, sort of thing?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it was a great squad, and like any sort of successful team or like any team that achieves anything, you've got to have that sort of bond, that camaraderie, and like the likes of Bobby Hassel, you know, Martin Devaney, like I said, just I could go through the whole squad. You mean, you know, we all pulled together, like I said. They all, like, you know, G'd me up, G'd each other up, and we bounced off each other. And like I said, listen, I missed and we ended up losing, but it's a team game, and you know, that's how we got the results in the first place. It wasn't all just down to me, it was the whole team, and not even just the 11 on the pitch, the lads on the bench, the lads in the dressing room, in the stand, the fans, everyone. It's a collective effort. So we all pulled together. We all got the result at Watford, and we all stayed up that year, which was a great achievement.
Brilliant. We'll move on to quick questions. I know we haven't got long left. You're a very busy man. So you're basically, your favourite Barnsley goal, is it the Chelsea goal? Your favourite one?
Well, there's not many to pick from, so yeah, it would be that one, yeah.
That's the one. I know that's probably not your best Barnsley goal, though. It's your favourite, but it's probably not your best. Which one do you think is your best Barnsley goal?
To be honest, I think we've already mentioned it, but the one that sticks out, in, like I said, there's not many to choose from, so it's quite an easy answer. But the Watford, the second Watford goal, the volley on the angle, it was. I was pretty pleased with that one, to be honest. So it was a nice goal. One again, obviously, probably more for the the whole reason for the goal and everything that it meant after the cup, obviously trying to stay up. So yeah, that's definitely up there for me.
Yeah, and in that sense, with the quick questions, we'll stick with Barnsley. You mentioned so many experienced players in that side, really good leaders, quite a few really good players as well, very good, talented players. What would you say is the best player that you played with during your time at Barnsley?
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. Do you know what? I mean, like you said, there's so many talented players. I think some of the stuff these guys used to do in training, like we had the likes of Rowan Ricketts, who was at Arsenal and Tottenham, and the things that he done with the ball, was his ability was second to none. You got the foreign contingent, the likes of Anderson de Silva, Diego Leon. Again, like we were howling in training. They used to just, well, you've seen Anderson do it in training, in games. I mean, I remember one game in the corner at Sheffield United. In the corner, he's just doing some unbelievable things. And you got the likes of Jamal, Campbell-Rice, Brian Howard. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, such a talented squad. Probably underachieved, to be honest, with that struggle against obviously Championship and the relegation. But obviously we showed what we could do in the cup run. But I mean, it'd be too hard to decide. But I think those first three that I mentioned, they were very, very talented individuals. Like I said, a great bunch of lads. I mean, I've got nothing but positive things to say about the squad and the time there.
Just to quickly go back to that FA Cup semi-final, obviously, unfortunately ended in disappointment.
He won't leave it.
It's all right.
No, sorry.
It's fine.
There's just a question.
Let me have it. Tell me how you feel. It's fine.
There's just a question that I've got to ask. Obviously, I think I was about 10 years old at the time, and it were everything to me. And you were all my heroes. So I was so gutted, just like any Barnsley fan, really.
You trying to upset me or something?
No. I'm trying to get you to cry. That's what it is. No, but was there a regret from sort of yourself and the squad as a whole that Barnsley, because really we had a good chance of winning the FA Cup that season.
Best chance you're ever going to get.
Yeah, when you think of the final four.
It is. I mean, it'd be. I'd be lying to say there wasn't a regret. When you beat Liverpool and Chelsea, I mean, figuring out, you're just thinking, well, it's ours there for the taking. You're going against Cardiff. You know, obviously we know them for playing in the league. And like I said, the FA, like when you look at it, there's never ever going to be a better opportunity. So yes, there is the disappointment because, you know, we were in the semi-final of the FA Cup, had a great chance to win it. But again, you just got to try and take the positives. We played at Wembley in front of 90,000 plus fans, put Barnsley on the map again. So many positives to come from it. Great day out for everyone. I mean, listen, the positives outweigh the negatives for me. I'm always going to look at the positive sides. I think it was a great day out. We couldn't have. Unfortunately, we couldn't have done it again, but we just got to look at everything else we got from it rather than what we feel like we lost out on.
One word answer, and then we're done. Toughest centre-back you've played against?
Oh, I can't give a one-word answer to that. The answer to that is, if ever I've had a bad game or if ever I felt like I didn't perform, I would never, ever put it down to who I was playing against. I'd put it down to myself.
Yourself. Kay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, boys.
We've both been working very hard this week, and your smile's absolutely infectious. I've smiled for the last half an hour. I feel in such a good mood. Your mindset's going to get me going tomorrow.
That's the key. Love it.
Top man.
Well done. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, guys.
All the best, mate. Come back and chat to us another time.
Will do. Anytime. Just let me know.
Thank you very much for watching Red Sky. Callum, enjoy that one.
Absolutely fantastic. What a nice bloke Kayode Odejayi is.
Lovely bloke, great mindset, the ability to keep going in a missed disappointment. I know you mentioned his lack of goals, but he thoroughly enjoyed his time at Barnsley, and he's such an infectious character. I can see why you'd want to work with him and have him around.
Yeah, 100%. It will have definitely been a likable guy in the changing room. No, 100%. As you said there, just such an infectious smile and just a really nice guy. You can see how he's made it in football and made it in life, to be honest. Such a good mindset and yeah, it seems like a really nice bloke. And the goal at Chelsea, against Chelsea, couldn't have happened to a nicer bloke, could it?
No, top man. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We've been Red Sky, I've been Chris Rudyard, he's been Callum Cooper. Thank you very much for your company.
Yeah, you too, mate. I enjoyed it.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitter. Hope you enjoyed it. Ta-ra.